And we're here with Phil Zalaia, head coach of Kaiser football this evening. They're going to play Poly. How's the team? How's the week of practice been for you so far?
Week of practice this week was good. It's a short week, so there's things you got to cover. It goes faster. Big things. We're just trying to minimize the mistakes that hurt us last week is the reality.
All right, I'm Pep Fernandez, Dennis Pope, or HS Game Time Live pregame for the big Kaiser versus Riverside Poly matchup. And Coach, you're coming off a tough loss to Cajon. Motivation to bounce back for a win tonight against a Riverside Poly team that's been playing very well so far this season.
They're an excellent football team. They're much better than they were last year. And rebounding from last year, last week. We got to minimize the mistakes. Turnovers and penalties is the reality. And they're a great football team. They're going to challenge us, and I hope our kids do the same.
What sort of things do you do to minimize the penalties this week?
Show them the penalties on film, exactly who did it and why we got those penalties and how it hurt our drives.
Coach, how about just being the defending champion in the Central Division? Do you feel like the target's on your back, you're the hunted this season as opposed to being the hunter?
I guess the target's on our back, but I don't really look at it that way, Pep. Every year is different. It's different players, it's different kids, and every team really has to kind of find their way of which they're going to go about and create a season. So, I guess people do want to beat us because we won it. It was a great year. That year's over, and we're moving on.
Just expectations, though, for the program. I mean, obviously, you guys did it once. You feel like you got some guys coming back. It's a long way down the road, but still feel good about this team.
It's a long season. You're right, Pep. It is. I feel good about the players that we have and the potential they have to get better each week.
Now Raymond Padilla, he's going to have his ups and downs. He's only a junior. What sort of things has he been doing to improve himself?
Ray's a senior.
Oh,
he's a senior. What's he doing to become a better football player? Being a leader. We rely on him a lot, and he's a leader, and he's going to, at practice and during a game, he's just going to do what Ray does, play football.
You mentioned that Riverside Poly obviously having a great season. What are the keys tonight to beating the Bears?
To beat Riverside Poly, we can't beat ourselves. Last week we had crucial penalties that really made us just fall back a step. So, we can't beat ourselves. Poly's going to do what they're going to do. They're coached very well. Excellent football team. We need to take care of us.
Good. All right. Phil Zalaia, head coach of the Kaiser Cats. Thank you, Coach. Good luck tonight against Riverside Poly.
Thank you.
Well, Pope, we got the head coach on here. He seems pretty optimistic, trying to bounce back from that loss to Cajon. He just mentioned it. Penalties, the name of the game in that loss to the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's hard to come back. They never led in that game, and penalties were a big reason why.
And Riverside Poly off to a great start so far this season, 2-1 with head coach Dennis Brown. What are some of the key players and things that the Bears need to do tonight to counter the Cats?
Well, it starts with their running game. David Samuelu and Devontre Hale, they provide a good 1-2 punch that's pretty tough to beat. It would start up front with mostly their offensive line. And then if they can protect Connor or Chandler Draxlin in play action situations, they seem to do better, but it all starts with the running game.
I talked to some assistant coaches before the game, and they were saying that there's a very strong junior class here at Riverside Poly. A lot of their star players this season are only juniors, so they have high expectations not only for this season, but next year as well. So we could be seeing the making of a resurgence of Riverside Poly football, which is what Dennis Brown wanted to do when he took over this program. So they'll be definitely tested against Kaiser tonight. It's the only Thursday night game that we'll be covering for HS Game Time. On Friday night, Pope, where are you going on Friday night? It's a big one.
I'll be out at Redlands High School at Dodger Stadium for Vista Murrieta at Rev. So it should be a good one. Rev, they lost last week to St. Bonaventure, but they should be still tough. They're always a good team, always defensive, always finding ways to score. But Vista Murrieta, they're the number one team now.
Number one now in our rankings. Yeah.
That people think highly of them. They have some turmoil right now. I posted on my blog whether or not people thought the arrests this week how they would affect the program, and most of the people seem to think it will have some effect on the program. It'll be interesting to see how the loss of Keyshawn Holmes does affect things. So I'm looking forward to it.
What Vista Murrieta does have going for them is they march out a small army. Their varsity team, they've got like 100 kids, and it seems like there's all these great players that can fill in for those the star players that they've lost. So we'll see what they do against Redlands East Valley. Now, I really wanted to pick the Wildcats in this game, and I was hoping they were going to have a better showing last week when they played at St. Bonaventure, but they got beat even without their star quarterback, Ricky Town, who's headed to the University of Alabama. So Redlands East Valley, we know they're big. They play good defense. If they can run the ball, maybe they can hang with Vista. There's a long side,
That's a big maybe. That's a big maybe. I'd love to see it happen. I think it'd be good for San Bernardino County football. I just don't see it happening, honestly.
All right, some of the other big games tomorrow. North, Citrus Hill.
That's not a big game. Citrus Hill's going to win that game
think
easy.
so?
Yeah.
North is 0-2 right now.
And they're going to be 0-3, I think.
We had them on our HS Game Time Live Blitz last night. They're 0-2 and very hungry for that first win with head coach John Rice. What do you think the Huskies have to do against a Citrus Hill team that's, chugging along right now with Brett Hollingsworth at quarterback?
Brett Hollingsworth is where it starts and ends for Citrus Hill right now, and they haven't even had their running back get started hardly at all. I think Citrus Hill just has an overwhelming amount of talent. Kids transfer out of Riverside to go to prepare Citrus Hill. And North is down right now. John Rice is trying to build up. They're just nowhere near where they were like 2 years ago.
But they got good uniforms. Have you seen their uniforms?
I haven't been to the new stadium yet either. So
new stadium, new uniforms,
new attitude. Hey, we'll see what happens.
There's a lot of teams that we had in our HS Game Time rankings that lost last week. So let me throw out some teams. You tell me who's in more desperate need of a big bounce-back win. Let's see. We had Centennial. They lost to Long Beach Poly, so there's an asterisk there.
Yeah, nobody schedules Poly, so they get a whiff.
Yeah, so they get a mulligan on that. Centennial, Redlands East Valley, Rancho Verde, they lost to Great Oak. That's another team. Kaiser's another one of these teams that lost last week. Of those four, maybe, who do you think it's more important to get a win this week in week 3?
Well, Rancho Verde plays Las Vegas High School this week. And I looked them up a little bit. They're the 5th-ranked team in Nevada. I don't know how much that means necessarily. Nevada's probably got a handful of really good teams, probably, but
not as much as Southern California.
Right,
I would imagine.
I would think it'd be a test for them, so it's an interesting get to see how they do tonight. I think that Rancho Verde, though, they're primed for upsets constantly. They lost last week to Great Oak, right? So, I think Rev is in the most need of a victory. If they can beat Vista Maria, that'd be a game changer for them.
Totally shake up the Inland Division in terms of looking ahead to the playoffs, even though it's a long ways down the road. But still, I mean, I think a lot of people just assume that Centennial and Vista Marietta are once again on this collision course to meet in the title game. Okay, Pope, any final thoughts on Kaiser Riverside Poly tonight, Thursday night special?
I'm looking for Poly, to show their balanced offense tonight. Kaiser, to show what kind of defense they have. They always bring a swarming defense. Is it as fast? Is it as talented as it has been in years previous? Poly's probably has the best offensive balance I've seen from it in several seasons, so it's going to be a good matchup.
Should be a great game. Dennis Pope will have your story, and we will have the highlights tonight on HS Game Time in the Thursday football final. Big thanks to Kaiser head coach Phil Zelaya for joining us here on the live pregame show. Now, Dennis Pope and I will step to the side, and we're going to zoom in on a little bit of the warm-up activities as Riverside Poly takes on Kaiser here at Ramona Stadium.